It's late September 2020, and this is typically when our market starts to slow down and go to sleep for the holidays. But is it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to start right now. Hey guys, Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Luxury International coming to you with another video. Today, I want to cover specifically what's just going on in the market. Call it a market update for late September 2020. Typically, like I said in the intro, this is the time that things start to slow down. You see less buyers out there, less inventory coming on. Things start to go to sleep as we start to get closer towards October and into October. But I'm not really seeing that this year. Even with all the smoke in the air, COVID, and all the other headlines that are probably filling your news feed, it really doesn't feel like we're actually slowing down right now. In fact, I would argue that we've even picked up a little bit of steam now that the air is cleared out. Well, that's exactly what I want to cover with you today in this video. And remember, if you get some value out of this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I am going to continue to bring out weekly content just like this, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So 2020, I think we can all agree, has been an unbelievably challenging year for a variety of reasons. However, it doesn't seem to have slowed down the East Bay real estate market noticeably, if at all. In fact, I would argue that things have shot up, becoming more competitive and frankly, moving even faster than they were pre-COVID. I chalk this up to a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm seeing a trend happening right now where people are going east. By that I mean the people coming from the peninsula, from San Francisco proper, are coming east and coming into the East Bay. And then a lot of the people from the East Bay are going to Sacramento, to Nevada, to all the way to the East Coast in some cases. And so there's just a trend that is moving people this way. I chalk that up to the COVID effect. People are spending a lot more time in their homes, they're working from home, they're reassessing priorities, and it's now a moment when they're having an opportunity to potentially make a move or pivot into their lifestyle. It's really driving a lot of the decisions, and I think that's also what's driving a lot of the prices. We all know that interest rates are historically low, and there's plenty of content out here on YouTube that will tell you that the sky's about to fall and all that stuff. That's not what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to talk about the actual decision of making an offer. Because people are spending more times in their homes, they're working from home, they're doing school from home, they're doing everything, and this pandemic doesn't look like it's got a short horizon on it. I think it's causing people to think very differently about the way they purchase a home. Before, you would lean very hard into comps. You would think, what the value is ultimately to you to live there on that block, in that neighborhood, etc. But now, because people just are so in their homes physically, more and more having potentially family come live with them or what have you, it's driving the value of that internally up. Couple that with low interest rates and low inventory, generally speaking, and you've got a recipe for people who are simply just going to write a really big offer. I've seen that a lot of times, especially in the larger single-family homes that have multiple bedrooms, 3 bed, 4 beds, stuff like that. They're setting price records and in ways that almost defy the comps, and in some cases absolutely defy the comps. It's because this sense of home, what is home, has changed. And I will say that I think it's probably changed forever. So if you're looking to get into the market, you need to know who you're competing against. And that psychology is absolutely something that you need to factor in when you're deciding to write an offer and what areas you're going to look in. Anecdotally, one thing that I have noticed from most of my clients and talking to a ton of the other agents out there is that a lot of the conversations that are being had with buyers in particular is echoing what I said just a few minutes ago. their definition of home has changed. Their timeline to stay in a home has changed. That when they originally thought they were going to be in a starter home, they said, you know what, let's try and get into the next size up and really reach and stretch for it. Interest rates are great. We have a little bit more money right now. Let's try and make that happen. And I think that effect is really pushing the prices in a big way. Now, the smoke that was in the air over the last month, obviously the COVID pandemic, intuitively you would think would have driven a lot of people out. And while I would argue that some of the condo markets and some of that sort of thing have taken a bit of a dip, some of the first-time home buyers have taken a bit of a dip, broadly speaking, it's not as much as I thought, and even individually, there's still a lot of energy in those markets as well. I think that's, again, because people are defining what home means to them differently now than they used to. So practically speaking, what does this mean? Number one, it's increased the speed at which transactions happen. It used to be a 2-week marketing cycle that would take place. Now it's like 7-8 days. For a buyer, what that means is you really have to be on it, both with your financing, making sure you're fully underwritten like I've talked about in many of my other videos, as well as you are basically capturing those listings as soon as they come on the market, because the sooner you can see it, that means the sooner you can do your due diligence and you can potentially make an offer. You also have to pay very close attention to whether or not they've set an offer date. If they haven't set an offer date, it's really ripe for someone to come in and snipe it, meaning they're going to put a preemptive offer in with a very short expiration date with the hopes the seller will just take the money and run rather than waiting for an offer date to duke it out with all the other buyers. And on the flip side, if you're teed up and ready with your financing, with your diligence, all of that stuff, you can be one of those people who puts in that early offer and potentially snipe the competition. So it's absolutely critical that you do that. And then the pricing strategy has changed. While during COVID, we went to a more transparent or near transparent pricing model, which I've talked about in many other videos, we have shifted back to very much a teaser pricing strategy because so many people are shopping online right now and setting those parameters up, like I've talked about, online to find houses. The houses that are being listed want to fall into those brackets for as many people as possible. So the price you see is absolutely not the price you pay in almost every geography across the East Bay. So you need to know, number one, what your budget is, what your financing is, and number two, the fact that the neighborhood you're looking at probably is going to sell 10, 20, 30% more than whatever the list price is. When you can start to digest that, start to understand that with your agent, and most importantly, internalize that for yourself, you tee yourself up for success in this market. When you couple that with what home actually means to you, you have a recipe for success. So that's the video for today, guys. Hopefully you got some value out of that. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel because I am going to continue to put out content just like this every Friday and you're not going to want to miss it. So without any further ado, this is Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Williams Luxury International signing off for now. See you guys on the next one.